Okay, so, like, remember those choose your own adventure books?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, this deep dive is kind of like that, except we're choosing the AI adventure, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
it gets pretty wild.
It does. It
We're
does.
going way past just the basics. Not
Yeah.
that everyone and their dog doesn't know all about AI these days,
Sure.
but we're talking about actually like talking to AI,
Mm.
almost like it's another person, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And figuring out how to get it to do what we want it to do.
It's wild because you've basically got like a supercomputer at your fingertips.
Oh, totally.
But instead of needing to go, learn how to code or any of that,
Right, right.
you just have to figure out how to talk to it.
Yeah, it's like having this incredibly powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like this secret handshake
Right.
to unlock the potential.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to try and figure out today.
I love it.
So, to get us started, we've got a whole stack of info here about how AI has actually evolved over time. Different waves, they're calling
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
What's the deal with that?
So think about it like this. The first wave of AI, it was like teaching a computer to play checkers.
Okay.
It knew the rules,
it-
it could make its moves, but it couldn't really learn or
Mhm.
adapt or anything like that. Then you've got this second wave that comes along,
Right.
and all of a sudden, AI is like a kid with, a box of crayons just scribbling all over the place. And that's because now it can process tons of data,
Right.
recognize patterns,
Okay.
which is how we got things like, facial recognition software and all that.
Okay, so we've gone from like rule-following robots
Right.
to crayon-wielding toddlers.
Exactly.
What does that make the third wave?
Rebellious.
Rebellious teenagers.
Not quite rebellious, but definitely more independent. Yeah.
Okay.
This is where it gets really interesting. Because the third wave, it combines the best of both worlds, right? It's like that kid who was scribbling with crayons
Uh-huh.
finally picked up a paintbrush.
Okay.
And we're talking about AI that understands context,
Wow.
adapts to new info, and it can even like generate different creative text formats.
Okay.
Poems, code, scripts, you name it.
Okay, see, now this is where it gets really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're not just, telling the AI what to do anymore.
Right.
We're having a conversation with it.
Yes.
And just like any good conversation, it's all about how you say it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So enter the art of prompting.
Yes. Prompting is like you're giving the AI the right cues
Okay.
so that it knows what kind of response to give you back.
Okay.
Think of it like those old
Yeah.
like text-based adventure games.
Oh, yeah.
Where you would type in a command like go north
Right.
or open chess.
Yes.
And the game would respond based on your input.
Yes.
That's kind of what prompting is like.
I'm totally picking up what you're putting down.
Good.
But it does seem like there's way more to it than just giving those like very basic commands.
Right.
We've got all these different strategies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a bunch.
It's got priming and few shot prompting,
Yeah.
persona prompting.
Yeah.
It's a whole secret language.
It is. It's like learning a new language, but don't worry, we'll break it down for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, each strategy has its own strengths. So like priming, for example. Priming is like setting the scene for the AI.
Okay.
So you give it some background info
Oh.
before you ask your actual question.
Right.
And that helps it to give you like a more relevant response.
Okay, so you're giving it a little bit of context, like a little nudge
Exactly.
in the right direction.
Yeah. Like a little breadcrumb trail.
Okay, and then you've got the few shot prompting, which I'm guessing has something to do with showing examples, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Few shot prompting, you give the AI a few examples of like the kind of output you're looking for.
Right.
Think of it like showing a student, a few sample essays
Okay, yeah.
before they go and write their own.
Right. Makes sense.
Right.
Okay, and then persona prompting. Now that one sounds fun.
Yeah, this one's fun.
That's where you're giving the AI like a whole new identity, right?
Exactly.
Look.
So with persona prompting, you're telling the AI to like act as someone or something very specific.
Okay.
So let's say you want to, write a marketing campaign for a new brand of coffee. You could tell the AI to act as a world-renowned barista.
Oh, wow.
And see what kind of like creative copy it comes up with.
Whoa. Okay, so instead of just asking for like a generic marketing campaign, you're basically giving the AI a crash course in coffee snobbery.
Basically.
And then just like letting it loose on the copywriting. I like the way you think.
That's basically what it is. You're giving it a personality and then just seeing what happens. But the thing is with all these prompts, it all comes back to understanding
Yeah.
how the AI is actually processing all this information.
Right.
How it's taking these prompts that we're giving it
Yeah.
and turning them into something, meaningful.
Right, because, okay, so we've given it its marching orders.
Right.
We've given it its barista costume, so to speak.
Right.
But it's not like it has a brain like ours.
Right.
So
Exactly.
how's it even making sense of all of this?
So it's true. AI doesn't think the way that humans do,
Okay.
but it has its own, kind of fascinating processes.
Okay.
And the first step in all of that is tokenization.
Tokenization.
Tokenization, where the AI basically breaks down your prompt
Hey.
into these smaller units of meaning,
Okay.
kind of like separating a sentence into, individual words.
So it's dissecting our language,
Exactly.
breaking it down into these little bite-sized pieces that it can then understand.
Exactly. And once it has those pieces,
Yeah.
it needs a way to understand what those pieces actually mean.
Right, of course.
And that's where embeddings come in.
Embeddings. Okay. Embeddings. Okay, now that sounds kind of complicated.
Yeah.
We're talking like AI brain surgery here?
Not surgery, but we are getting into like the nitty-gritty of
Okay.
how AI processes language.
Okay.
So imagine like a giant map, right?
Okay.
And on this map, you have words with similar meanings,
Uh-huh.
all clustered together.
Okay.
That's kind of what embeddings are like.
Okay.
They help the AI to understand the relationships between words, their
Okay.
nuances, even like their emotional connotations.
So it's like the AI is learning to like read between the lines.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's understanding that like happy and joyful
Right.
are in the same like neighborhood on that giant word map.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
And it's that ability to
I got it.
grasp those subtle connections
Yeah.
that allows AI to, generate such creative and nuanced text formats.
Right.
But the process, of course, doesn't stop there.
Okay.
So once the AI understands the individual words
Right.
and how they relate to each other,
Yeah.
it needs to figure out how they all fit together
Okay.
within the actual like prompt that you gave it.
Right. So it's almost like solving a jigsaw puzzle.
Exactly.
You've got all the pieces, but then you've got to like figure out how to actually connect them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's,
Exactly.
to see the bigger picture.
And the glue that holds all those pieces together
Yeah.
is what we call the attention mechanism.
Attention mechanism. Okay.
And that is how the AI focuses on the most relevant parts of your prompt
Okay.
and then connects it to like its vast knowledge base
Yep.
to generate that response.
So if I'm like asking it to write me like a Shakespearean sonnet about the joy of a good cup of coffee,
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
just like pulling random
Yeah.
words from its vocabulary.
Right. It's actually like understanding the connection between Shakespearean language
Yeah.
and coffee
Yeah.
and like the concept of joy and
It's making those connections. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's using its knowledge of all of those different concepts.
yeah.
Its understanding of language and its ability to like connect the dots
Oh,
to
wow.
create something new and interesting. It's kind of beautiful when you think about it.
Okay, that is seriously impressive.
It is amazing.
I've gone from rule-following robots to crayon-wielding toddlers to like master chefs
I know, right?
in like the span of a few minutes.
It's incredible.
What's next? Is
Yeah.
it going to start composing symphonies and painting masterpieces?
No, I mean the creative potential of AI is certainly vast, right?
Yeah.
And as we continue to develop more sophisticated prompting strategies
Right.
and kind of refine the way that AI processes this information,
Right.
I mean, who knows what amazing things we'll be able to do. I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. Me too.
But before we get like too carried away
Right.
with all the amazing, cool possibilities here,
Sure.
I think we kind of have to address the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
or maybe it's more like the robot in the room.
Right. Right.
You know, all the talk about AI taking over the world
Right.
and like the ethical concerns.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real.
The potential for things to go wrong here.
It's important to acknowledge those concerns, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is a powerful tool, right?
Right.
And just like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
And I think the key here is to like approach its development and use with a sense of responsibility
Okay.
and to have these really open and honest conversations
Yeah.
about the potential risks and benefits.
So it's not about fearing the rise of the machines,
Right.
but it's more about making sure we're using this technology ethically and responsibly.
Exactly, exactly. And that involves thinking about things like, bias in data,
Right.
the potential for AI to be used for malicious purposes,
Right.
and how important transparency and accountability is
Right.
in all these AI systems.
Those are all like super, super important
It's
things
hugely important.
that we have to consider. We've really got to make sure
Yeah.
that we're building AI that reflects, our values.
Yes.
And that we're using it to try and create a better future
Absolutely.
for everyone, not just a select few.
100%. And the good news is
Yeah.
there are a lot of brilliant minds out there
Okay.
already working on these issues.
Oh, good, good, good.
Developing safeguards, advocating for ethical AI development.
Okay, that's definitely reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So it's not all like doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
We're not all going to end up living in like some dystopian sci-fi movie.
Not necessarily.
Right,
I mean,
right.
remember, we're still so early in the stages of AI development.
Right.
We are writing the rule book as we go along.
Okay.
And that means we have this incredible opportunity
Yeah.
to actually shape the future of this technology
Okay.
in a positive way.
Okay, I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic now.
Go ahead.
But like, let's be real.
Yeah.
AI is evolving crazy fast.
At lightning speed.
Lightning speed.
Yeah.
How do we even keep up with all of like the advancements
Right.
and make sure that all of like these ethical considerations
Right.
are keeping pace?
That's the $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
But I think it requires this like ongoing dialogue between researchers and developers and policymakers
All right.
and the public.
Okay.
And it means, staying informed, asking the tough questions,
Right.
being willing to adapt as the technology evolves.
So it's like it's a collective effort. It's not just like up to the tech geniuses to try and like figure this all out.
We all have a role to play. Absolutely.
Right.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
Oh.
From the researchers who are, developing the new algorithms
Right.
to, the everyday users who are interacting with AI systems,
Right.
our choices, our actions, these things are going to determine what path this technology takes.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's empowering to think that we're not just like passive bystanders
Right.
in this whole like technological revolution.
Exactly.
Right.
We actually have, agency. We have a voice.
We have a say.
We can actually help steer AI towards a future that benefits, hopefully all of humanity.
I love that. That's beautifully said. And I
It's kind of like we've been like hiking up this mountain of AI knowledge. And just when we think we've reached the peak,
right.
we realize there's like this whole other mountain range just like over the horizon. There's so much to learn and unpack here.
Always something new. Always something new. And today, I think we're going to explore one of those like super exciting new frontiers, right?
Yeah.
We're going into the future of prompting.
The future.
So we've talked about like how prompting is all about kind of like giving AI the right cues
Right.
to get like the responses that we want.
Yeah.
But like, where do we go from here? What's like the next level of talking to machines?
So imagine this.
Yeah.
You give the AI this like really complex task,
Okay.
but instead of you having to like meticulously craft this perfect prompt,
Right.
it starts suggesting its own prompts. It like refines its approach based on the data that it's analyzing.
Hold on. AI prompting itself.
It's wild, right?
That sounds a little creepy, to be honest.
It's getting there, but
Like it's becoming self-aware and
Yeah.
realizing it doesn't need us anymore.
well, it's not quite, self-awareness.
Okay.
But it is a huge, huge step forward. Because think of it this way. It's like you're collaborating with like a colleague, right?
Right.
On a research project.
Mhm.
You have your initial ideas.
Yeah.
But as you both delve deeper,
Okay.
your colleague starts pointing out like new avenues, suggesting alternative approaches based on their expertise, right?
Yeah.
It's like this back and forth, this
Yeah.
collaborative process of discovery.
Okay.
That's kind of what's happening here.
Okay, so it's more like I have an AI research assistant
Yeah.
who can not only like follow my lead, but also like contribute its own insight,
Like,
its own ideas.
Yeah. And this kind of like self-prompting AI, this could like revolutionize fields
Okay.
like drug discovery or material science.
Wow.
Imagine, right? An AI that can like analyze these massive data sets
Right.
of chemical compounds or physical properties and then
Yeah.
generate its own hypotheses about like potential new drugs, new materials.
What?
It could like seriously accelerate scientific discovery.
That's incredible.
It's huge.
It's also like it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if AI gets that good
Right.
at like problem solving.
Yeah.
Where do we fit in?
What's our role?
Yeah, are we going to be obsolete?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Right.
And it's a question that a lot of people are, kind of grappling with right now, understandably. But
Right.
I think instead of looking at it as like this competition, right,
That's right.
humans versus AI, I think it's more helpful to see it as this.
Yeah.
Like collaboration.
A collaboration.
Yeah.
Okay, so not us versus them,
Right.
but more like,
How can we work together?
yeah, how can we actually work together to accomplish things that like
Right.
we could never do on our own?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, humans, we bring creativity to the table.
Right.
Intuition, this deep understanding of like the human experience. Right.
Right.
AI brings this unparalleled data processing power,
Okay.
pattern recognition,
Right.
a tireless capacity for exploration. We combine those strengths, we
Yeah.
can do incredible things.
I like that perspective a lot.
Yeah.
It's not about fearing, like the rise of the machines. It's about embracing like the potential for this technology to
Doing it.
really like level us up.
Yeah. Augment our abilities.
Right, help us create a better future.
Yes.
But okay, with all this talk of like giving AI more autonomy,
Right.
more decision-making power,
Right.
how do we ensure that it's being used ethically?
Right.
How do we make sure that its values are aligned with our own?
That is the question, right?
Yeah.
The $1,000,000 question. And,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like easy answer to that.
Right.
But I think it really comes down to like a few key things:
Okay.
transparency, accountability, and
Right.
just ongoing dialogue.
Okay.
We need to be able to understand how these systems are making decisions.
Okay.
We need to hold them accountable for their actions. And we need to just keep talking about these issues
Yeah.
as the technology like continues to evolve at this like breakneck pace.
So it's a conversation, right?
The conversation.
It's an ongoing conversation
No, it's evolving.
between humans and the AI that we're creating.
Yes.
We need to like stay engaged,
Stay informed
stay informed,
and stay adaptable.
stay adaptable.
as things change.
Wow, that's what makes all this so exciting.
Right.
It's not just about like the code or the algorithms.
So much bigger than that.
It's about like exploring the very nature of intelligence, like pushing the
It
boundaries
really is.
of what's possible.
Yeah.
And figuring out a way for all of us
Yeah.
to like coexist and thrive in the future.
Beautifully said.
Oh man, it's about all the mind-blowing AI insights I can handle
Right.
for one day. But
Yeah. It's a lot to unpack.
it's been an amazing journey. So
It has.
as we kind of like wrap up our deep dive here into this ever-evolving like landscape of AI and prompting,
Right.
what are your final thoughts?
So if there's like one thing that you take away from this whole conversation,
Yeah.
let it be this. The future of AI, it's not set in stone, right?
Okay.
It's not predetermined.
Sure.
It's something that we are all actively creating right now
Wow.
through the choices that we're making, through these conversations that we're having, through the actions that we take.
Right.
So stay curious, stay engaged,
Stay engaged.
and let's build a future where AI empowers all of us.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI
Having a
and
true
prompting.
pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining the incredible possibilities that, definitely lie ahead.